Story 1. The Australian man who donated blood once a week saved over 2 million babies with his special blood type. He recently passed away, which is unfortunate. Story 2. Anyone who helps others without fanfare or seeking personal gain, and not for political reasons, is acting because it is the right thing to do. Thank you for the award. Story 3. To the person it's impacting, whoever is making a positive change in their life is important. It's like the old story of the starfish washing up on the shore and an old man tossing them back into the ocean one by one. Another man asked why he was wasting his time, saying there were too many and it was futile. The old man replied, "It wasn't futile for that one, nor the next. In times of hardship, look for the helpers." Fred Rogers. Story 4. Saruman believes that only great power can hold evil in check, but that is not what I have found. I have discovered that it is the small, everyday deeds of ordinary people that keep the darkness at bay. Small acts of kindness and love. Gandalf, J.R.R. Tolkien. Story 5. Serbian students. Our country has been sinking deeper into corruption and autocracy for a while now, culminating in a train station collapse that killed 15 people. The government had no intention of taking accountability and instead responded with media manipulation and violence against the people protesting. Eventually, students across the country organized blockades at their universities and grew into a leading force for change through nonviolent protests and direct democracy. Just yesterday, we had the biggest protest in our history, with over 1 million attendees. It resulted in a surge of positive energy and exposed the government for what they truly are, and we're not stopping. Our students are also in the running for a Nobel Peace Prize, and my biggest hope is that we inspire the rest of the world to follow suit. Story 6. Somebody you have never heard of. Those doing the real good work do not boast about it. They simply get on with it. Story 7. It's challenging to narrow it down, but I believe individuals working in renewable energy, climate change solutions, and global health are having a significant positive impact. Scientists developing clean energy technology, researchers focused on disease prevention, and social entrepreneurs enhancing education and access to resources in underserved areas are quietly reshaping the future. While their work may not always be attention-grabbing, it represents the kind of long-term change that truly matters. Story 8. At the moment, Bill Gates is working with his team to eradicate diseases in Africa and stop the spread of mosquito-borne viruses. While I may not fully credit Bill Gates alone for these efforts, it is his team and the resources he has invested that make a difference. No other individual has tackled such a significant problem. Although there may be negative aspects associated with him, he is currently effecting a substantial positive change in the world. Story 9. Collectively, we can make a significant difference by reducing consumption and waste as much as possible. Let's be mindful of one another at work, on the road, and in the grocery store. Remember, we are not the center of the universe. Story 10. Everyday workers build our countries, doctors save lives, and teachers educate the next generation. However, politicians often have the most negative impact by defunding many of these essential services. Story 11. It may be Bill Gates, perhaps one of the few exceptions to the rule that all billionaires are pure parasites. Regarding Jeff Bezos's ex, giving away billions must be doing a lot of good. Story 12. I don't think Bill Gates gets enough credit for putting his money where his mouth is and showing us a path for wealthy individuals to give back to society. It's a shame that others haven't followed his example. I wouldn't necessarily say he has the biggest positive impact, but he is definitely among them. Story 13. Clearly, Zelensky and the nation of Ukraine are the only country actively resisting Russian expansionism and directly confronting oligarchs. Story 14. Mehdi Hassan, the former MSNBC commentator, is building his own news channel, Zedio, with Naomi Klein and Francesca Fiorentini. The channel features hard-hitting interviews, a growing audience, and a commitment to better journalism. Story 15. I don't know. I think I'm doing rather well. I'm a registered nurse who works for a National Health Service hospital for about €9 per hour. I give it my best, clock in, do my job, and clock out without making a fuss or gossiping like most do. Unfortunately, I have to deal with a number of grieving families and sick or dying patients, and I do my best to comfort them and not bring any of it home with me. Every time my dog poops, I pick it up and place it in the trash. I focus on myself and my family. I don't litter. I pay my taxes. I spend time with my parents every weekend. While they're still very capable and help me out a lot, I actively try to understand if they need anything and if everything's good. I help my friends and my friends' friends when asked. I'm not the Pope or the President, nor am I a billionaire philanthropist, but I do my best. Story 16. I watched the mini documentary series on Dr. and Burgess last year and have also seen Mindhunter. She is incredible. As a pioneer in forensic psychology, she standardized the assessments and interviews for criminal profiling. Most importantly, she advocated for victims of sexual homicide and abuse at a time when many dismissed her research. She also obtained a flying license, allowing her to travel back and forth to Quantico to see her family. At over 80 years old, she is still actively doing her work. Story 17. Trash collectors and water treatment workers have the greatest positive effect on public health, and no other activities come close. Story 18. Volunteers in any field are an invisible force that people often overlook, but their assistance is what keeps everything running. Story 19. I would say anyone in the field of maintaining the world, specifically the individuals ensuring the energy supply. I am particularly biased as I work in the gas supply sector nationwide. I believe that without the engineers facilitating this process, people would struggle to have a positive quality of life. A significant amount of work occurs behind the scenes to ensure that homes and businesses receive the energy they need to thrive. Story 20. It's surprising how 10 years ago, someone could have answered this question with Elon Musk, and people would have supported that answer. Story 21. Probably Zelensky is currently defending NATO and the EU from Russia. If Ukraine had fallen quickly, Putin would have likely targeted another country in no time. I know it's not just him. Every brave person defending Ukraine at the front is equally important. However, he represents them all and is doing his best to gather support for his country and save it. Story 22. All those criticizing the United States, can you name one country whose citizens contribute more to the world? I am curious about the responses this elicits. Story 23. The ones minding their business and not starting fights to prove someone wrong. Story 24. Zelensky is leading efforts to significantly weaken Russia's military and its ability to function as a global power. A weakened autocratic Russia is very positive for the world. Story 25. Trump is not doing this on purpose. Crashing the economy can actually be beneficial for the environment. He is encouraging alternative forms of energy by being unpredictable. Many countries are turning to wind and solar energy for independence from oil supplies in the United States and Russia. He is negatively impacting the most wasteful individuals in our society, including his own voters. Story 26. The American Bar Association, whose judges and lawyers are primarily responsible for maintaining the rule of law and preventing the establishment of a dictatorship in the United States. Story 27. Honorable mention. Jeff Bezos' ex-wife, Mackenzie Scott. After their divorce in 2019, she has donated a substantial amount of money to charities. It is estimated that she has given away around $16 billion. Story 28. Nayib Bukele, the president of El Salvador, was elected in 2019 and has made numerous positive changes for the country. The Supreme Court reinterpreted the Constitution to allow him to serve consecutive terms in office. Story 29. Indirectly, Trump. Look at how many people he has united all over the world because of his actions. I mean, it's even bringing the United Kingdom and Europe together again. Story 30. Ukraine is effectively reducing Russian military stockpiles and revealing the challenges faced by Russian society. Story 31. Elon Musk. Yes, seriously. He managed to get people wanting and driving electric cars. For decades, people said that gasoline engines polluted and needed to be changed. He actually did something about that and got people driving cars that don't pollute and can harness solar power. He launched satellites into space for a fraction of the cost that NASA does. advancing space research and saving taxpayers' money at the same time. His Starlink network of low-orbit satellites has been critical to Ukraine in its conflict with Russia. I could go on, but you get the idea. Elon has made improvements to the world that others only dream about or wish someone else would do. I know this post will attract naysayers who will point out that Elon is unconventional, supports controversial figures, or has personal issues. Yes, Elon has flaws, but he also gets things done. Work that contributes to humanity and fulfills goals that progressive-minded people have pursued for decades. This leads me to conclude that much of the negative sentiment toward Elon stems from plain envy. Those who have never accomplished a fraction of what he has tend to claim he must be wrong. Whatever. Winners, the people who uplift humanity, do their work quietly. Losers denigrate and tear down others. Decide which side you're on. Story 32. Gary's Economics. If you are in the Western world and think things are getting worse for the average person, he can help you understand why. Story 33. Bukele. If you have any doubts, talk with any Latino who has been living under the rule of gang violence. Story 34. Answer. Trump, without a doubt. I know this will cause some people to react strongly because he is often compared to historical figures in a negative light, but let me explain. The biggest threat to you and your family right now is nuclear war, not Trump's personality flaws. The largest chance of nuclear war occurring is if the conflict in Ukraine continues and accidentally spills over into a neighboring NATO country. This can happen very quickly. We could all be vaporized in our sleep or exposed to drifting radiation clouds without even knowing how it happened. Trump has proposed a ceasefire that would end this war as soon as possible, thus reducing the overall risk of an accidental nuclear exchange between NATO and Russia. Zelensky has agreed to a ceasefire, and today Putin also agreed to it. Without Trump, this war would likely continue indefinitely. You don't have to like Trump's personality, but he is currently a counterforce to nuclear war. Story 35. Perhaps it is a bit controversial, but there is a good chance it is Bill Gates since he pledged to donate all his wealth to charity after his death. Microsoft is not my favorite company, nor is Bill Gates my favorite person, but the impact he will have on the world will be enormous. Story 36. Dolly Parton must be on the list. She is funding vaccines, mailing free books to children, and releasing hits like Jolene that still resonate. If that's not a positive triple threat, I don't know what is. Plus, she would likely bake us all cookies if we asked. Story 37. A large group of teachers works every day to educate the public. I just don't see how it gets bigger than that. Story 38. Protons carry a positive charge and reside in the nucleus of atoms alongside neutrons. Since they are present in everything, I propose that they have the most significant positive impact. Story 39. Palestinians open the world's eyes to many issues with their governments and how corrupt they are, while demonstrating bravery and honor in fighting for what is right under conditions that no other people can endure. They remain grateful to God. Their mental fortitude serves as a lesson to many generations who believe they have difficult lives. Story 40. Elon Musk. Forget all the political issues of late. Who else has been trying to move society forward and help with our current and future problems? Let the criticism begin. Story 41. As a middle-aged white man, I have to admit that Taylor Swift is the largest source of global goodwill. Story 42. It is interesting how many of these responses focus on the impact humans are having on other humans and not on the world. Some individuals are doing incredible things, but the question remains who is having the biggest impact on the world. Humans constitute a small fraction of the planet, by any metric such as size, mass, number of individuals, or area occupied. Thus, even those who have the most significant effect on other humans have a nearly negligible effect on the world. To feel otherwise is human, but to think otherwise is illogical. Confusing the world with other humans seems to be one of the defining qualities of our species and perhaps one of the reasons the world is suffering around us. Greta Thunberg might be a good answer to the actual question. I am sure there are better examples, though. Story 43. Twitter is a Frankenstein monster that should never have been unleashed upon the world. Only one person has been able to deal it a major blow, Only one individual has the power to slay this foul beast once and for all. Our hero Elon Musk, who bought the platform to destroy it. Story 44. Honestly, and I'm not even a fan, but perhaps Taylor Swift? She brings joy to hundreds of millions of people. I'll assume the hundreds of millions of followers she has her fans. Every city where she tours benefits from increased tourism and hospitality. She contributes to charity. All of that is positive. Story 45. Friendly women make it easy for me to cook them a nice dinner with a wide selection of seasonings. Story 46. Jacinda Ardern is doing great work in transforming leadership around the world. I love her vision. What an amazing woman. Story 47. There is someone who is making many rich, complacent countries suddenly wake up and realize they have been codependent and are not ready to face the harsh world on their own. Story 48. Probably China, and I am not even joking. Have you seen their cities? Green trees everywhere, electric cars, and they open source the artificial intelligences that other countries didn't want. Story 49. Donald Trump is simultaneously ending the Russia-Ukraine war while drastically improving the United States for the half of the country that is sensible. Story 50. Trump destabilizing human civilization will ultimately lead to the faster annihilation of Homo sapiens. The world wins while humanity loses. Go world. Story 51. Elon Musk is volunteering his time away from running multiple companies to help address the government's issues of waste, fraud, and abuse. I am joking. I do not support extremist ideologies. Story 52. Probably generative AI. Providing everyone with internet access to relatively high-quality, free advice, guidance, and education is significant. Thanks a bunch for sticking around till the end of the video. Remember to subscribe, and until next time, stay awesome and goodbye.